Now, if you're someone that loves single-player games, then today we're going to take a look at all the upcoming single-player games that's releasing between 2024 to 2025. Now, I'm not going to waste a lot of time. Let's get right into the first one. We got Crysis 4. And I've got to say, pals, we've always had this conversation with Crysis 3 on whether or not if your hardwares are going to be able to run this game. And even with the hardwares that we have in current generation, adding on to some of the mods and stuff, Crysis 3 still looks incredible. And that's one of the most famous reasons as to why Electronic Arts and their Crytek engine is always known for, and they're finally back with Crysis 4, and this time it seems like they're not kidding. They've actually hired game director from Hitman 3, the guy who worked on that game, and also the same guy who worked on Assassin's Creed Revelations and Far Cry 3, one of the most critically acclaimed best story narrative games of all time. So it seems like developers who worked on some of the biggest projects out there are currently working on the upcoming Crysis 4, so it's already making me super excited. We don't have a release date yet. It seems like it's coming out sometime in 2025. We'll of course see more reveals in the coming June, because that's when we're going to be having some sort of E3s or Gamescom and a couple of events where hopefully EA and rest of the companies decide to go ahead and give us an official announcement of when all of these games are coming out. Then moving up to the next one, we have Max Payne 1 and 2 Remake. And as we know, Rockstar Games is very busy in order to, release Grand Theft Auto 6, and that's one of the biggest gems, and it's kind of understandable at this point. Although this game is not set to be coming out sometime in 2025, it's a very likely chances that Rockstar Games could come into their final production stages with Max Payne 1 and 2 Remake. And when I say 1 and 2 Remake, I actually mean both the games are getting combined into one game rather than just having Max Payne 1 and Max Payne 2. They want to just combine it and create one game. Basically, it's going to be a very long storyline that's going to have a lot of combining stories and all this stuff. So it's very interesting. I don't think any companies have done something like this before, where they combined part 1 and part 2 of a game and then made an entire remake. I don't know, at least I'm not aware of any games that has done this before in the past. Let me know in the comments if you know any games like those that I should go ahead and take a look, where they combined both of their own games together. So I'm curious to see what Rockstar Games is coming up with. It is already said that Rockstar Games is currently working on this game, but then they're very busy with Grand Theft Auto 6, and there's a lot of resource going on for that game. So they've just put a pause with this remake version, but it seems like we'll be hearing more from Rockstar Games after the launch of GTA 6. Now moving up to the next game, we got Plan 8, and this game is actually from the same developers that are already developing Crimson Desert. Now apparently it's the very similar situation like Rockstar Games, where they're working on GTA 6 and they kind of just put a halt onto the Max Payne series. It's the same way around here for Plan 8. Now Pearl Levis actually got very excited and decided to give us some sort of an engine cinematic trailer, which actually looked pretty dope. And I'm not gonna lie, this was supposed to be a PvP PvE open world MMO RPG game where you can create your own players, where it's a post-apocalyptic setting, but then we're fighting against some of the robots, the machines that have taken over the universe. Now everything that I've been seeing from this game, from the reveals, the trailers, the engines and all that stuff, the graphics, everything just looked absolutely mind-blowing, to be honest. Now this game was announced when we had PS4s back in those times, and there is no freaking way in world that PlayStation 4 will be able to run this game. So I already knew that it was not going to be coming out for that generation, but then for the PS5 I was hoping that this game would come out, but it seems like Crimson Desert is going to be the one that's coming out first, and then we're going to be moving on to Plan 8. But as of now, there isn't much update about this game, but then it's a really cool game that I thought I should go ahead and add it onto the list, so that if you guys are not familiar with this game, then you would finally know that this awesome game is coming out sometime later in 2025 or 2026 and beyond. Now up next, we have another similar game, which is called Ark Raiders. And apparently this is a game that I've been very excited about, and it's similar to Plan 8, whereas the world is being taken over by machines and US players will have to pretty much just save the world. Now originally the game was supposed to release in 2023, and then it got postponed to 2024, and now it seems like it's not happening this year either. It's going to be 2025, and the reason why is because the developers kind of just changed the entire genre of the game, because originally it was supposed to be a single player PvE action adventure game, and now they decided to make this game an entire PvPvE PvE game. So you can kill players and you can also kill machines, which are not controlled by players. So it's going to be a massive open world. They're trying to make something similar to like an MMO RPG kind of a game. I don't know why they wanted to make a switch, but it is what it is. I'm kind of excited for this game. I would love to play the game on the online mode and have some PvP actions. And of course, I will keep you guys updated if we get any further information. Now moving on to the next, we got this absolutely fantastic horror game that is called Ill. Now this was developed by a single developer. Like, it's an indie development studio that's currently working on this game, and then they slowly started sharing some of their project works and all the gameplays that they've been working on. It is one of the most realistic horror games that I've seen so far, and the types of monsters that you have in this game is just beyond what I've imagined. Even comparing this with some of the AAA titles like Resident Evil, this game is far better than any Resident Evil games that I've seen, and that's the reason why the development studios got a lot of support from fans and also from a lot of different companies that have also been interested in game development. And now the studio has actually expanded, and now they're working with a massive group of developers who have also managed to hire the voice actor who played as Leon from Resident Evil, who's going to be the main protagonist of this game as well. So I'm very curious to see what happens. The developers have always been keeping us updated with all of their development works, and it just keeps me very excited on Twitter all the time. So I'm really curious, and it seems like the game is going to be coming out in 2025. I'm super excited for it, and I just can't wait to see what this game has to offer. We got Gears of War 6. Now, just a couple of weeks ago, Gears of War 6 was actually announced to be in production already, and this game has been in development for so many years, and it's expected to be releasing sometime in 2025. If you haven't played Gears of War game before, then I would highly recommend you guys to go ahead and try it. You can actually play it with your friends because the entire game is actually a co-op action adventure. You can play it with your friends or family or even your girlfriend. It would be absolutely fantastic if you try this game out, from the first Gears of War game all the way to Gears of War 5. And if you don't want to buy all the 5 games, you can of course go ahead, subscribe to the free Game Pass, and you'll get all the 5 remastered Gears of War edition. Now, moving up next, we've got Instinction, which actually is a dinosaur single-player camping story narrative related game where you can play the entire storyline with your friends in co-op. Now, we've already been shown plenty of gameplays. I'm already in love with this game, and if you're someone that loves games like Jurassic Park and Jurassic World, and if you're someone that really loves movies like Jurassic Park and Jurassic World, then I think Instinction is going to be that dream game for you guys. Now, this game is set to be releasing in 2024. We don't have an exact release date, but all we know is that 2024 is going to be the final launch. Now, moving up next, we have another dinosaur game, but then it's not a story game. This is actually an open world survival game. This game is called The Lost Wild, and if you ask me what Unreal Engine 5.2 can do, then this game is definitely going to be able to show you what it can, because The Lost Wild has graphics like nothing I've ever seen before when it comes to the vegetations, the open world, the environment itself in the huge thick jungle. It just looks very realistic. Now, you're going to be fighting off against some very ferocious dinosaurs, T-Rex, and a lot of realistic stuff, and it's basically a survival game. It's not a story mode. Of course, it's single player. It also has PvP action, so it's both single player as well as multiplayer. It's a survival game, a hardcore one, and it's also a very hardcore survival at its core. Now, The Lost Wild is set to be releasing sometime in late 2024 or even early 2025. There's been a lot of delays for this game in the past, and as of now, they finally decided, well, it could be 2024 or 25, and that's pretty much it. And now moving on, we have Indiana Jones. Now, this is something that most of you guys might already be familiar with. Now, this is kind of a semi-open world maps where it's pretty much a first-person shooter game. Sometimes it turns into a third-person game, so it's kind of a mixture of both. Now, a lot of people are super excited for this game. I myself am very excited for it. I want to really see what the Unreal Engine can actually do with this game, because especially when I say semi-open world, I kind of mean it like it's very similar to what we've seen with Uncharted 4, The Thief's End. Now, that's one of the best games when it comes to storytelling and how the game is basically feeling like an entire movie itself. So you're playing a movie, but at the same time, there's a lot of interactive stuff, which also makes you feel like it's a game, not exactly something that's playing like a whole cutscene. But that's basically what's happening here. They're trying to do their best in terms of making this game as cinematic as possible. It's a first-person game, of course, which means that there's going to be a lot of gameplay key elements. So Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is going to be be releasing on November 2024. Alright guys, so now moving on, we now have an upcoming game called Enshrouded. Now this is also an upcoming open world RPG game where you're going to be surviving, and this game is basically all about the gameplay aspect. Now you have to hunt animals, and there are some very bizarre creatures. You can also craft houses, and you can cook items in order to survive. You can also basically jump off the cliffs, and you have this gliding mechanics. The world is very unique and beautiful to look at. So it's one of those games where you just spend most of your time exploring the dungeons and, you know, the open world, the mountains, the landscapes, and also finding some of these creepy little lores. Now Enshrouded is one of those games where you're going to be having a lot of different huge boss battles, and one of the battles that you can actually see that is shown in one of these gameplays, as you can see, we fight off some sort of a huge demon king. Now this is a game that I'm super excited for, and the best part about it is that you can actually play this game with your friends. It's a game that enables co-op action, survival. It has a lot of raids that you can complete. It's something that if you are someone that basically loves RPG, open world, co-op action, survival game, then Enshrouded is going to be your #1 stop. And now moving on, so we have this upcoming open world Japanese game called Where Winds Meet. Well, this game is an open world RPG game that's set in a fantasy universe of feudal Japan. Now, you're going to be playing as one of these Japanese ninja or shinobi warrior, and I've got to give it to the devs. The devs have done some incredible job when it comes to the parkour system in this game, because, you know, everything that Assassin's Creed has always been famous for is especially their parkour system. Now, you have a lot of different abilities. You can mount different vehicles in the game as well. You have horses, a lot of different types of actions, adventures, exploring. Now, if you're someone that actually loved games like Ghost of Tsushima, and you also want to have some fantasy stuff and survival elements with this game, then I think Where Winds Meet is going to be one of the best upcoming open world survival games that we have always seen. So I am super excited for this game, and the release date for Where Winds Meet as of now has not yet been confirmed. Now all that we know is that it's coming out in 2024. It's not a 2025 title, so you don't have to worry about the game being that delayed, but as of now I'm just suspecting that maybe probably around Q4 of 2024 could be the perfect time when this game could finally come out. Alright guys, so we got Ark 2 Survival. Well, as you guys know, and you might already be familiar with Ark 1, one of the most loved PC games that stands out for its own very unique open world survival elements where you fight against dinosaurs, you tame dinosaurs, and it seems like in Ark 2, Vin Diesel is going to be the protagonist, and apparently it's a game that's going to take a slight deviation towards the main storyline rather than just a survival aspect to the game itself. Now Ark 2 is set to be releasing sometime in 2024. Not an exact release date has yet been given. Now I'm super excited for the dinosaur survival adventure, and I just can't wait to mount the T-Rex and run around and massacre the entire city of tribes. And the best part is that Vin Diesel is already working on it, so I'm kind of curious to see what kind of a role he's going to be playing in, what the entire survival aspect of this game is going to be like. Now up next we have a Gothic 1 Remake. Now I know that I've covered this game multiple times on my previous list, but I just feel like this game needs a lot more recognition at this point, because this is one of those fine shine games that has always been fan favorites to all the gamers out there back in those days, and Gothic 1 Remake is finally seeing its light, and it seems like the devs have completely remade this entire game with a brand new engine. It's not just some sort of a remaster, it's a whole game that's completely reimagined, and it just feels like a brand new game in its own general form. Now Gothic 1 Remake is going to be releasing sometime in 2024. An exact release date has not yet been given as of now. Now up next we have one of the most beautiful open world survival games on number 10, which is Light on Fire. Now this game is developed by Hello Games. Now I know you guys might be wondering, well, Hello Games, aren't they the guys that made No Man's Sky and they failed, or they made a lot of promises for the game but nothing really ended up getting delivered? But yeah, it seems like Hello Games are once again back, but this time they have made much more promises than before. And as you can see, this game Light on Fire does look incredible in terms of how good the open world looks and how the gameplay and the entire trailer has been showcased. It's one of the most beautiful games that I have seen so far, and it's apparently an open world survival game which has some massive RPG mechanics. It's kind of similar to what we have already seen with Ark Survival, but then it has a little bit of a different twist to the entire game itself. In as of now, they haven't really given any sort of release date, but all the speculations and all the rumors that's been going on is that Light on Fire is most probably one of those games that's going to be releasing in 2024. So that's the reason I wanted to go ahead and add this game onto the list here. And up next, we have one of the best looking open world RPG survival games of all time. Now, if you are someone that loves games like The Witcher and Kingdom Come's Deliverance, and you want to be experiencing some of those best RPG medieval games, then Crimson Desert is going to be this bonus game of this video. My god, this is something that I've really been looking forward to. And as you know, Crimson Desert has gotten delayed multiple times, but as of now, it was scheduled to be launching sometime in 2024, but it seems like the game is apparently getting delayed once again, and it's most likely going to be coming out at early of 2025. So that's what we're believing as of now. But if you ask me, Crimson Desert is always going to be one of those games that I am going to stay hyped no matter what. Like, just take a look at this game. It looks incredible. There are so many things you can do, so many different features in open world exploration, and it just feels like one of those perfectly crafted open world games that's coming out this year. Now on, we have a new survival game that's actually being spoken about a lot in the Steam gaming community, which is called The Rooted. Apparently, this is an open world survival game which does not include zombies, by the way. However, it does look a lot like a zombie survival game, but this time it seems like the developers wanted to go with something that's not zombies. And in Rooted, it seems like we're going to be fighting against machines who have taken over the human world. Now, it's a post-apocalyptic setting where we will create our own character, and it's going to be very in-depth, detailed survival game where your character stat is going to be playing a very crucial role. Now, the first alpha session for Rooted was released in September 2023, but however, the full game is yet to be released, and it said that the final product of the game will be releasing sometime in 2024. Now, up next on number 4, we have Nightingale. Now, Nightingale is another open world survival game which was released on February 20, 2024. So you can already play this game on Epic Games as well as on Steam. However, the PS5 version is yet to be released. We'll get an official release date for that one in coming days. Now, Nightingale is an open world survival game which is set in a Victorian era on a fantasy open world. Now, this game includes role-playing elements such as different quest lines that you're going to be completing with the NPCs, and one of the best parts about this game is that it looks very visually pleasing. If there's a massive enemies that you can walk through, and you will enter into a completely different dimension, and you can go back to the Stone Age and you can survive, and there are different monsters, very huge ones of course, and these monsters, they kind of look like huge trees and dinosaurs and all that sort, and even giants sometimes. So you play as a basic player created character, and it has a kind of stylized graphics, as you can see, and the game has both base building features. You can craft items, you can hunt, you can fish, and you can also cut down trees in order to gain more materials, and that's just something that people who love survival games are absolutely gonna fall in love with. Now, Nightingale is already released, so you can go ahead and play this game. It has a lot of mixed reviews on Steam, however. Some people tend to like it and some people don't. It's just completely up to players' preferences on what type of a survival game you're looking into. Now, moving on to the next one, we got Blight Survival. Now, Blight Survival is a very dark open world survival game which gives you this Resident Evil Village kind of a vibe. At the same time, it's not really a modern game. It's set in the medieval times. You play as one of the medieval characters. So as you can see from the gameplay, it's a game where you fight off zombies from the olden times in the medieval, and it also has a beautiful story narrative. Now, Blight Survival is a game that a lot of fans have been looking forward to. Now, as of now, we don't have any exact release date yet, but the developers have stated that this game is going to be releasing in 2024. Now, we don't know if it's going to be Q1, Q2, Q3, or Q4. It could be any time before this medieval co-op game drops in. Now, the best part about this game is that you're going to be fighting against monsters, zombies, and various different deadly creatures. And the reason why the world has gone to hell is because of a deadly virus plague that has been plaguing the lands of Blight Survival. And the best part is that you can play with your friends on online co-op as well as you can play it as a single player experience. It's completely up to you, and the game also fully supports controllers on the PC versions as well. Now, however, the developers have already stated the game does not have a PvP version, and they don't really intend to have a PvP version as well. So if you're looking for a PvP survival game, then I think you should moreover look at games like Once Human, which has some beautifully crafted open world as well as PvP action survival. My favorite, which is the Black Myth Wukong, which happens to be an action-adventure RPG game set within the words of Chinese folklore. Now, this is actually a Souls-like inspired game, but at the same time, it has a lot of elements that you'll find very similar to games like God of War. Now, in this game, we play as the heroic Monkey King, apparently, who can do a lot of spells, who has magical powers, and this character happens to be one of the most famous folklores in the Chinese mythology, and some people even worship Monkey King. And I honestly did not know about this until I read a recent article which says that in some areas people actually believe that Monkey King could probably be some sort of a god. So in this game, we're going to be playing as a monkey who's going to take down some of the huge monsters, and one of the most unique monsters that I've seen in most of the games out there. And honestly, I think it looks fantastic. So the game is going to be launching on 20th August on the PC and PS5 platforms, and they've also said that it's going to come out for Xbox, but then it's going to take a while, because as of now it seems like PlayStation has pretty much just taken the exclusivity, so that's probably the reason why it's going to be coming out later for Xbox Series X. And the next game is called The Altars, and this game is actually pretty weird from the looks of it, because this is an open world space survival game, and if you're someone that played Death Stranding, and if you did end up liking that game, then you'll probably love this one as well, because this game just seems like that Kojima madness, where you kind of don't understand what the game is all about, but then at the same time you end up feeling like, well, it's very unique in its own ways, but I kind of don't understand what this game is all about. Well, if that's something you love, then this game is actually a space survival game where you will be building your own space stations, and you'll be scavenging for a lot of loots, you'll be mining a lot of DNA samples, and what's very interesting that kind of caught my attention from the gameplay they showed off in Summer Game Fest is that you can actually collect some of the DNA samples that's available on the planet that you're living, and you can use different DNA samples in order to combine it with this mission, and this mission is going to be creating different types of life forms. And in this gameplay, as you can see, it seems like he's 3D printing a creature, and it's probably like a DNA 3D printing where you could just combine a couple of DNAs and see whatever comes to life, it just happens. And for now, we only got to see sheeps being created, so who knows, we might even make dinosaurs, we never know. See, Altars is going to be coming out sometime in 2024. They haven't really given us an official release date for this game yet, but the devs have already confirmed that they're kind of just expecting for this game to be launching this year itself. Now, the next game is actually pretty interesting because this is something that I am personally super excited for, which is Greedfall 2. Now, honestly, I haven't really played the first Greedfall game, but then I did hear that the game actually has a lot of good reviews, and a lot of players do actually appreciate this game, and it's apparently an open world game that's set in the 17th century medieval times. And what's good about the sequel is that the devs have actually confirmed that even if you've not played the first part, then you're still going to be able to understand the second game, because it's not a direct sequel, it's a game that's standalone on its own, and the storyline is not really connected to the first part, which I think it's honestly great because I haven't played the first game. So from the gameplays that they've shown off, I really wanted to go ahead and try this game out. So apparently in the previous game, you're going to be discovering some sort of an island, and you're trying to colonize in it. So you're an outsider who's basically entering this island and trying to colonize your own civilization, taking out some of the people that already live in there, and a lot of different monsters, of course. And in Greedfall 2, you'll actually come across some new people that are going to be entering your homeland, and these are people from other nations who are trying to invade you, and some are good guys, some are bad guys. They're just trying to, you know, settle in and see if they like the place or not. But then of course you're going to get into a lot of trouble since they're outsiders. They don't really know what kind of customs you follow in here in your own island. So it's kind of a very interesting game, and some of the features that I got to take a look at from the gameplay that they showed off, it seems like you're going to be having some really amazing hunting mechanism in this game where you can actually set bear traps from one of the gameplays that we got to see, which honestly looks pretty cool because you're just exploring the open world, hunting down some animals in the game. You can take some of these crafting items from the animals and craft a bunch of stuff inside the game itself. So that's something I really love when it comes to open world games. And for once, the game is going to be offering player choices, which is going to help you make decisions in the game, and all of the decisions that you make in your gameplay and the choices that you get, it's actually going to be impacting your story with each and every decisions that you take. So it's kind of cool in my opinion because every player is going to be having a completely different storyline to see based on whatever choices they're going to be making in their game. And now let's move on to another game which I've been very much anticipating for this one, which is called Once Human. Now this is a single player game where you can play completely offline, or if you want to play with your friends, you can also do some co-op. And what's interesting interesting is that the game also offers PvP action. So it's basically a survival game that's set in this massive open world, where this game offers some unimaginably unique monsters that I've never seen in any other open world or survival games before. Because you can actually see that a house turns into a monster, or even a television just becomes a monster. And there's also this huge siren head in the game, and there are some very unique and bizarre monsters in this game. I don't know if bizarre is the right word to use because it kind of sounds bad, but I'm just meaning it in a good way because there is a lot of really cool looking monsters in this game, and it's a game that's set in post-apocalyptic universe. Now, this game is kind of similar to what we have seen with Palworld, where you can recruit some of these monsters, whereas in Palworld you can recruit some of the pals, which are like Pokemons. But then in this game there are going to be different types of monsters which you can recruit, and apparently these monsters are going to be working for you. They'll build your base, they'll also, you know, secure your base, and it seems like you can just make them your best friends. And they're also going to be helping you out in PvP battles. Kind of offers something that no other video games offers at this point. So it's very unique in its own states. Now this game is going to be releasing on 10th July this year. Now up next, the game I'm going to be talking about is my most anticipated game of all time, which is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Now this is a story-driven open world game that's going to be set in 15th century medieval times. Now honestly, I don't know about you guys, but it seems like this is the most hyped RPG games that is coming out this year. So this game is actually a direct sequel to the first one. So if you haven't played the first one, just go in and try it because it's a really good game, and I think you guys will love it. Because if you're someone that really loves realism in a game, then I think Kingdom Come Deliverance is going to be giving you one of those realistic approach. And this game actually has some very realistic first-person action. And hey, well, hello there. What are you looking at? I'm really happy that the devs actually showed off another trailer, because the last time we got like the first ever reveal trailer for this game, it just looked absolutely fantastic. But this time they gave us even more, and we kind of just got to see that this game is actually coming out this year, and it's set to be launching in 2024. Now we don't have an exact release date, unfortunately, but I'm just guessing that it's probably going to happen sometime in Q3 or Q4 2024, which is probably around November, October, or December of this year. So the first game here is called Hearth Weather Warfare. That's the name of this game, apparently. So you're going to be fighting against some sort of a survival game where you're fighting against the weather itself.
We're trapped here. This place has gone crazy.
Oh my god, Jesus.
The weather freaked out. It's hard to survive.
So you have like all of these survival elements in the game as well.
We have no water and food. I need to protect my daughter.
Oh.
Help us.
So you got plenty of survival elements in this game, apparently. Oh my god. Look at the tornado just tearing through the entire environment. Oh my god, who's that? Damn! Oh, we got bears in the game. You got some humans that you gotta kill. Probably some AIs, and damn. So apparently it seems like there are cults in this game. They're supposed to kill you. You're supposed to survive against the wildlife. Some weird kind of cannibals, I believe. Hearth Weather Warfare. Survive soon at your wish list. So Hearth Weather Warfare, guys, it's going to be coming out in 2024. We don't have an exact release date as of now yet, but all that we know as of now is that this game is coming out in 2024, and the developers are working hard in order to develop it. It's coming from an indie studio. It's a AA game, so it's definitely not something that you guys should look forward to in terms of a AAA title. But as far as what it is, I'm pretty excited for this game. And now let's move on to the next title. Alright guys, so up next we have this brand new game called Digested. This is another survival game. Apparently we're supposed to survive against a very huge anaconda that's surviving all around in this open world. So you play as this body cam footage of one of the survivors, and it just looks absolutely interesting. And I'm pretty sure that you guys might have never heard of this game before. Let's just take a look at it. It looks pretty cool, to be honest. I'm looking at the gameplay for the very first time as well. Oh, damn. Look at that. That was a huge snake, by the way. So we got like a mini map here. Oh my god. Dude, that is so freaking big. We're supposed to survive against this? Oh, Jesus. Oh my God, dude. That's freaking amazing. Oh! Digested. Oh my God, that literally just gave me a jump scare, dudes. Guys, this game is called Digested and it's coming out in Q1 of 2024. As of now, the developers haven't given us any further information. All that we know is that 2024 is going to be the official release date of this game. It's going to be coming out for the PC versions first. And as far as what we know about the console releases, we don't have much information about that. But PC release is coming out on Q1 of 2024. All right, guys, so moving up to the next one, we have a new game which is called as Zoochosis. Apparently it's another survival game. And it seems like we're... Oh my God, what the hell was that? Did the giraffe just turn into something very demonic? Zoochosis, rescue the animal. So apparently it's a survival horror game. Seems like we got plenty of horror games that's coming up in 2024. And it just seems interesting. We got a call here.
Night, Zookeeper. The job is not difficult. You
All
have
right.
nothing to worry about.
Seems like we're gonna be playing as a zookeeper in one of these zoos. And the animals in the zoos are not normal animals, right? We got some giraffes that are completely zombie-like. Oh my God. What in the world are we even watching right now? Is it like these animals can just turn into zombies or something? Oh my God. Zoochosis. Oh my God, dude, that looks pretty horrific. Guys, this upcoming game is called Zoochosis and it's coming out on Q2 of 2024. And we don't have an exact release date for this game yet. But as of now, all that we know is that it's coming out in 2024 and Q2. And it seems like it's going to be some sort of a zoo survival game where all the animals are completely gone rogue. And it seems like they turn into some sort of a zombies. And I'm super excited for this game. And yeah, with that being said, let's move on to the next upcoming game of 2024. All right, guys, so this upcoming game is called JUMUN. We don't exactly have an audio for this game for some reason. I don't know. It seems like the developers just showed off some of the gameplay. It's very low quality, to be honest, whatever gameplay that they've shown off. It seems like it's some sort of linear storytelling, and at the same time, it's a very combat-oriented game. And as you guys can see, it seems like we're playing as some sort of a shinobi or a ninja. It's a very bizarre game. The gameplay actually looks very interesting, to be honest. And if you guys are someone that actually loves the Japanese or Chinese mythology in terms of video games, I think you guys will absolutely love the crap out of this game. And in this game, we will be playing as a Ronin warrior. I don't know for whatever reason why the developers did not seem to just go ahead and add any sort of sound effects for this gameplay that they showed off for whatever reason. As far as what I've seen from the gameplay, it looks absolutely fantastic. We don't have a release date yet. It's just a very small demo that the developers have shown off so far, and it just looks absolutely fantastic. I've already fallen in love with this game. I'm just looking forward to seeing what the devs have to offer in the coming future. Now, moving up to the final game, we have Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl. Now, this is a game that I've been really looking forward to, and the entire gaming community has been speaking about this game, and we've been waiting for decades now. Now, the game is actually developed by Ukrainian developers, and although we have a lot of war going on at this moment in Ukraine, but still, the developers have been doing their job. They've been trying to get this game out as soon as possible. It's a game that's being developed on Unreal Engine 5.2, which was the latest version of Unreal Engine until the brand new 5.4 was just announced a couple weeks ago. Now, Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl is an open world survival game, which is a AAA game, by the way, so it has a very beautiful narrative of storyline, which apparently continues from where it left off with the first Stalker game. So if you haven't played the first Stalker game, I would honestly recommend you guys to go ahead and take a look at that game. If you can't play it right now, you can also watch the entire storyline on YouTube as well, where you can just sit back, relax, and watch the entire gameplay or even the storyline. Now, Stalker 2 is going to be releasing on September 5, 2024, and I'm very excited for this game. Now, with that comes an end to all the top upcoming open world games of 2024. And for the final verdict, my most anticipated game out of the all top 10 list is going to be Once Human, because this game has passed the quality check in terms of how good the gameplay and visuals and everything is. And from all the playtest session and also looking at the anticipation from gamers, Once Human is by far the best upcoming open world survival game that you guys should definitely not be missing out on. 2024 is going to be the date. Mark your calendars, because we're going to be getting Once Human dropping very soon. I'll of course keep you guys updated when the release date is, but as of now you can wishlist the game on Steam, and if you want to play the game early, test it out, you can of course qualify yourself for testing on the official Discord community service, where I will leave the link down below in the description of this video. Make sure to go ahead and check it out. Which of the top 10 games are you guys excited for? I would love to know your opinions down below in the comments. I would love to read your comments and reply to as many of you guys as I possibly can. Now, with that being said, if you guys want to stay updated with all the upcoming latest contents on all the news, updates, gameplays, informations, and everything that you guys need about upcoming open world games, then this channel is going to be your #1 jam. So make sure to go ahead, subscribe, stay tuned for more, and I will see you guys on the next one. Until then, take it easy, fams, and goodbye.